Hey guys, what's going on? Coach Krause here. Today, got a cool one. Gonna break down the short punch, the short right hand, right? I've done a video in the past on short punches in general, but we're gonna really focus on that short shot that comes straight down the middle and how effective it is, so stay tuned. So, just a little reminder of what is and what is not a short punch, right? So let's say I had this pole and the pole was my target and I was this far away. And I stepped in and I twist my rear foot and I look down my arm and I protract my shoulder and I land that shot. Well, what a short punch is not, it's not that same punch and it just happens to land sooner. It's not a shot that had the intention of doing this, but I just happened to catch something sooner because in that power arc, how that punch was designed, the power won't be there. The snap will not be on the appropriate place. The snap, the power, the destructive nature of that punch is on the end of the punch, right? And in that circumstance, that was the beginning of the punch, right? What I want is a whole new shot. I want a shot that only ever intended to travel that distance. That way, when I hit this thing, I am hitting it on the end of that punch. It just happens to be a much shorter range, but it places that snap and power in the appropriate place. The way I like to describe it to my fighters is imagine your elbows were glued to your body and there was no way your elbow was going to extend out. How would you land that shot and still get it off? Well, you'd have to protract your shoulder. You got your pec muscles, and what they do is your pec major, they bring your arms together. But under that muscle is what you call your pectoralis minor, and what that does is it protracts your shoulder. And that would be this that I'm showing you here. Getting that shoulder out in front of you. And that's going to really be the extension necessary to get that shot off. Also, what maybe is a little difficult to see inside my glove is I also have to flex my forearm so my knuckles are still pointed at what I want to hit. I don't want to leave my fist in a neutral position and land like this. I won't have the proper surface area. I'll end up really hurting my hand and there won't be any power on that shot. So my elbows remain in and I have to really drive with my lower body because I don't have that extension of the upper body in which to help me generate the power. Step in, drive with that rear foot, land with those knuckles, protract the shoulder. You see from that perspective, my chin is protected by that shoulder. And then from this perspective, my hand is in that proper place. These are excellent punches in the close range. Even when your opponent has their guard up, these are the type of punches that can really penetrate through that. There's a number of ways you can practice this. Of course, on a traditional heavy bag, you could just be in close range and be trying to land that shot. Really imagining that you're close to your opponent. Don't forget about your other hand. Don't forget about your defensive hand. But it is such a kind of big target that it doesn't give you the correct feel of how the shot would really land. I think the speed bag is a much better tool. So, instead of hitting the speed bag traditionally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat it like my opponent's head. Maybe time it, let it keep swinging. And the whole concept is I never want to let my arm extend out and straighten because I just won't have the room to do that. I want to learn how to land this shot with force and have this elbow stay in, connected to my body. One thing I also forgot to say is you want to have that rotation of your fist. You want to turn your shots over. You want to turn over all your shots because that really helps you aid in that snap that's so necessary to be destructive with this shot.
Round. Mike Tyson fighter when you can't get off punches.
Down goes, and can he make it? Mike steps into him, bang. He turned his whole body, his hip, his leg.
This is so typical of Tyson when he punches well. It's just
So just to wrap it up, imagine those elbows were stuck to you and you had like T-Rex arms, and all that work had to come from the rotation of your hips and the protraction of that shoulder. Your hand will not extend out. That way, when you land at close range, you have hit your opponent on the end of that particular punch. These punches take some getting used to, but once you have it in your arsenal, it's a tremendous weapon, really, all right? So keep practicing, and of course, like and subscribe.